World War One was pretty much kind of the first kind of modern war kind of thing, I guess. So today we'll be talking about kind of like the events that kind of led up to World War One, kind of like in the kind of the U.S. point of view, because it's kind of interesting. So all starts back like in George Washington's presidency. So pretty much about 130-ish, 40-ish kind of years before World War One. So George Washington does his famous farewell address to the nation. He said to do three things. One thing, stay out of foreign affairs. Europe's affairs in this case. Two, don't rack up national debt. And three, oh my gosh, I forgot the third one. Oh, three was, oh my gosh, how did I just forget this? And I think three wasn't like, don't really open up, stay kind of enclosed, I guess. Okay, so pretty much close enough. So he gave us these three things. How well have you followed them? I don't. Yeah, just how well, like, I guess, kind of how well we follow them. Like at this point, national debt by somewhere around $1 trillion, I think. I don't know. It's up there, and with foreign affairs, okay, I don't know. Okay, so next, so then it was around like 50, like 1850s, 40s, 40-ish. The United States wants to dominate in trading because we were making so much. So basically, we were making so much things. There wasn't enough people to buy in the U.S., so we sent it. We're trying to become a big like trading power. So we send this guy. His name is like Commodore Matthew Perry. He's trying to do like the Pierce hairstyle I see. He was trying. So he gets 5 warships. By this point, they were made of iron. Well, iron warships, and they sent them to Japan to try to get the doors open. But Japan has been like closed to like back 200 years earlier, 1600s, I guess. 17th century, Japan decided to close its doors to trading in all affairs, and have been closed ever since. So when Perry comes in with these big warships, um, um, like the Japanese are kind of amazed, like they haven't seen these things before. And oh, I got a picture of that. I thought a picture of that. Well, so like no one has seen these big warships before in Japan. So, well, Japan's a I mean not Japan. Japanese are really big like on honor, dishonor before death, honor, and kind of like the like really big with the culture. They pretty much, well, the leaders said, hey, if we join them, well, I said, wait, so I said they're pretty much closed off from like the rest of the world for years. So so all the buildings are made out of wood. So with these warships, I do just lob like, well, shoot like we just fire like this, shoot a couple. shells in there and a couple cannons or shells or whatever, and you set like the whole city on fire, and there's no way to put it out. So the Japanese leaders soon realize this, and they're like, "Hey, let's kind of ally with them, start doing a trading thing." Well, Commodore Perry said, "Okay, yeah, just I'll come back I'll come back in a year, and I would see if you made a decision." He does come back, but instead it's like 9 months later. So it's kind of like the mafia thing, I guess. Like, no. So actually, he comes back. What came with 5 warships? This time he comes back when it's 9 or 10 warships. So he kind of came back kind of with muscle, you can say. So he comes back with like kind of like with the muscle, I guess. And he now is like, hey, yeah, you have to do this now, kind of thing. So the Japanese agree. Well, the Japanese agree. I wonder why. So they agreed to open a trade. So then, excuse me, just got hiccups. So as the Japanese agreed, they then wanted to set out to be like the United States, which is like hint hint Pearl Harbor right there. So this happened like maybe 100 years. So yeah, like 100 years before Pearl Harbor, everything was being set up. Yay! So but so yeah, um, so then as we fast forward about 50 years, Civil War happens. So Civil War happens, Reconstruction. McKinley becomes president. Actually, no, Cleveland becomes president. And then Cuba starts staging a revolution against Spain. By this point, Spain has pretty much lost everything they've had colony-wise. They used to be like the most dominant ones. Like almost all of like South America, the Caribbean islands, and like and pretty much everything east from I want to say not east, I meant west from the original 13 colonies. At one point was part of Spain. Even Nebraska was part of Spain at one point. So then Spain just got in a lot of wars, I guess, and kind of racked up debt. So they're like, hey, so we sold a whole bunch to France, to Napoleon, fought a war over it. I actually sold a whole bunch of land to the French, fought the French and Indian War, or this other, also known as 7 Years' War. That became, then British one, had a little bit, France, then they were sold to Jefferson, which became ours, and we expanded east. Mexicans had revolution, our country started holding revolutions against the French, and Cuba, the Philippines, Puerto Rico, and maybe a couple other islands. This is like all they had left. Like, they had nothing left whatsoever. They lost everything to revolutions. So, first Cuba fought, they lost. Then, a couple of years later, they started a new one. The United States, like, the people in the United States actually wanted to go to war. I don't know why they wanted a whole bunch of people to die, but they just kind of wanted to. I don't know why. But, like, the civilians, like, hey, let's kind of intervene. Let's help the Cubans. Because they were, like, in the exact same boat we were 100 years earlier with the British. But instead of taxes, it's just being kind of imprisoning the Cubans, like slave laborish kind of things. So then Cleveland says no. So then two newspaper companies like, hey, this could be kind of a big opportunity for us. So then they decide and be like, hey, let's write all these really big like stories kind of thing, like great graphic and like horrible stories and kind of talk about Cuba, other known as fake news. It's not a new thing. It's not new whatsoever. As you can see, it's been happening in the U.S. since around 1898. So it's not a new thing. So they start doing fake news and trying to get the people to read it, or trying to get people to read it, sell on newspapers, make more money, become rich, and I don't know, get like a golden swimming pool or something. So then by this point, McKinley gets elected. He once again is like, no, we're not joining the war. Then the Maine happens. It's the Philippines. What is it? Oh, I passed it already. Oh, okay, so then the Maine happens. So the USS Maine, were as the Spanish army, well, this Cuban Revolution was going south for the Cubans at this point. So Havana was in danger, which is the Cuban capital, if you guys didn't know. So McKinley, trying not to intervene, I put quotation marks on my fingers when I just said that, sent the Maine to help protect the Americans in the property in Havana. And he didn't want to intervene. So, all of a sudden at night, the Maine just decided to blow up or whatever, and killed about 200 people on board out of 300. And as I just hear that, like, I used 300 people on board, about a little bit over 200 died. And I'm hearing, and when I first heard that, I'm like, man, that's a small battleship. Because, like, when the Arizona blew up, there's like 1,000 people on it. And, like, 2,000, they died instantly. I'm like, man, that's supposed to be a small ship. And I see the picture, yeah, that's kind of true. But what is it in the beginning? Like that thing in the front. It looks very fancy. You need to get a color photo of it. But, so it blows up, and with the newspapers at this time, with the two newspaper companies at this time being great on fake news, they say the Spanish had some secret weapon and it blew up the Maine. Yeah. And so, with McKinley having no choice, he declared war on Spain. But most historians think it was a boiler exploded, or it just was like some guy was being like smoking in the ammunition room and it exploded. And yeah, it was like something like problem in the ammunition room. Because probably you're smoking Cuban cigars. Get it? Get it? It's pockets like Cuba. Get it? Okay. It's not as bad as like the other kind of joke I had with Perry. I was like after, like I had another joke that I was going to do, but I thought it'd be too cringy, and it was going to be, yeah. So, after Perry, so then after Perry said you'll come back in a year, they went the separate ways. Get it? See Perry journey. Okay, forget about it. Okay, so so McKinley declared war. Well, then there was a guy named Teddy Roosevelt. He was kind of like, yeah, he saw this coming like from like a mile away, kind of thing. So he's like, hey, yeah, so he was like the secretary of the guy who was in charge of the Navy. And so he was like, yeah, I'm just going to send a whole bunch of battleships to the Philippines, because that's the Spanish have the like kind of like boats at. And so when they declared war, he said, yeah, go to the Philippines. So then they snuck into, is it like Manila Bay, where the Spanish ships were at? In the morning, the United States, being the good saint, just destroyed all the ships to shreds, as you can see there. Like, someone even that big. Like, how does it even exceed? Like, look at that ship. It's not that big. That's not even a Navy ship. And they just destroyed them all to shreds. The Spanish had no chance. And, like, my big thing was, like, so they snuck into the harbor. How don't you guys hear the rumbling of engines and smoke coming out of smokestacks? Like, ships are kind of loud, even if they're steam powered, kind of in a way. And like, you guys are anchored in the harbor, kind of, I guess, kind of blockading it, and you don't hear a ship. Okay, just you get my point. So as these ships kind of get obliterated. The Spanish have already lost the whole navy. Back in Cuba, Teddy Roosevelt only being like one rank away from being in a cabinet seat, decides to resign to lead soldiers in Cuba. He starts leading the Rough Riders, which I thought a picture of them. I guess I don't have a picture of the Rough Riders. So he starts leading the Rough Riders, who help with kind of the war effort. So, in less than 3 months, Cuba is freed from Spanish rule. Yay! We did it. And Spain decides to give up all the colonies it has left, including Puerto Rico and the Philippines. They also recognize Cuba as an independent country. But, so then they give up the Philippines to the United States. It becomes a colony. And now we have really, really gone against George Washington's advice of, well, first things first, staying out of foreign affairs. So back to the Philippines. So like the people in the Philippines felt very betrayed. Like the United States helped them get, trying to get free, and then just kind of got and I said, like, hey, yeah, we're in charge now. So then they leave out. So then, once again, the people who are fighting with the United States are now leading a revolution against the United States. This one lasts way longer than the other wars, and like the 200 people who died in combat in the Spanish-American War, and the 5,000 people who died of sickness and starvation and disease in the Spanish-American War, which had, for the U.S. war, had surprisingly very low casualties. So then, as this war gets on, this will last us for like maybe 2-3 years, and the deaths start kind of start whacking up. And so the U.S. finally just crushed the revolution, and the U.S. in general was like, yeah, let's go give the Philippines, like, let's make them own independent country. And they staged a revolution against us. And we kind of take that back, and we don't give them freedom, or don't make them, I guess, an independent country until 1946, about a year after World War II. Yeah. So, yeah. So then that's when I'm like, yeah, we were just about to give you independence anyway. Which kind of help you get up on your feet, try to make yourself kind of like your own little country. Will kind of help you. You can get you ready to make kind of get you ready to make yourself a country, and then you just absolutely just start attacking us. So yeah. So then, so then the United States, also in Cuba, said that they were going to leave you guys to kind of, I guess, I don't want to say die, but just leave kind of do your own little thing. But they, so then the U.S. is like, well then the U.S. decides, no, we're going to take that promise back, and they come back and pretty much forced the Cubans into signing a treaty, which was kind of like what ended World War II. Like, hey, if you get attacked, we will help you, kind of thing. You know, like with Poland, and then Germany attacked, World War II started. Okay, forget about that. We said that in an earlier video. If you want to watch that video, I think it's like the events that lead up to World War II or something. It's been too long since I've done that. So, as I said, by this point, so then they set up like their own. So then in Puerto Rico, now it's a U.S. colony, a territory. They set up their own little government there. All people can become U.S. citizens and everything. And then the United States goes over to the Philippines, makes a little government there. And then, yeah, that's what kind of happened. So, as I was saying all this, I forgot to mention about Alaska. So, there's this other guy, which I can't believe I totally blanked out on this when I was making this, getting all these pictures together. So, there's the other guy, and he wanted to, I guess, he wanted to expand, like, the trading into the, what do I say? Oh yeah, the Pacific. So then when the Russia was like, hey, we're going to give up Alaska, he jumped right on it. So, like, he made the deal in one night, just don't take, he made the deal in one night to Russia, because it was, like, really hard to send information, because he had to sail around the tip of Africa to get back up. Like, but then people like, but you can really see Russia from, like, the border, like, at the very end of Alaska. But the thing was, like, they had to get through, like, the mountains. I forgot the name of the mountain range, but they had to get through the mountains. So, like, at the time of St. Petersburg was, like, on, like, the European side of Russia. So, to get messages, like, landline-wise, they had to go from St. Petersburg, cross some mountains, cross through Siberia, to the coast, and sail over to Alaska, or you can take the 6-month route. That easily will be a year. So it's like 13 time zones away. Or you could take the 6-month route, which goes all the way down to the tip of Africa and comes back up. So, yeah. So, you can see why they really wanted to get rid of Alaska. So, because it's super hard to govern. So then the United States buys Alaska. Yay! So then the United States kind of really like intervening in the Caribbean, doing all these things, totally disobeying like George Washington's order, like his advice. Like, it's George Washington. Come on. So then the United States like, hey, let's get trade open with China, and they do that. Then the United States like, hey, let's build a canal right through Panama, because at this point, Panama, about 1909, was having a revolution against Colombia. And the U.S. intervened, helped, got Panama's own say, and now it's like, hey, we're gonna split you in half. We're gonna put a canal right through you, through the middle of Panama. And so they did that, and it's the Panama Canal. And that's why a lot of Caribbean people, South American people, absolutely hate us. As like, hates the United States of America. I don't know if they still do, but last time I don't know. Okay, so then World War I erupts in Europe after the German Empire decides to, attack. And the Austro-Hungarian Empire and the Ottoman Empire declare war on Britain, France, Belgium, and Russia. So the United States actually, for once, decided to actually obey George Washington's advice and not get involved. So then about a couple years into the war, the Lusitania happens, and killing a whole bunch of Americans on board. The American people get mad, and they kind of want to go to war. Yay. So then, Woodrow Wilson, the very guy who his campaign slogan was keeping us out of war in 1917, 1918, decides to declare war on decides to declare war on Germany and its allies. Preferably for a couple reasons. First things first, Britain, France, and Belgium have been pleading to the U.S. to join because they've been kind of been beaten back, and if the United States joined, the tables could turn. And Russia has been out of the picture because the Germans had a secret weapon called Vladimir Lenin, who I don't think I probably should have done the cough now that I think about it. Well, they got Vladimir Lenin, I think, to go to Russia, started a communist revolution, and Russia just pulled out of the war because it was being under attack from because it was kind of being attacked from kind of inside. So then that left Germany can now focus all its forces on the Western Front, the Eastern Front. So I guess he was pretty much tired of the fact that France and Britain kept saying help us, come on our side, that kind of thing. But then the United States, then Britain got actually decoded a message from Germany to Mexico, saying that, hey, how about you guys attack the United States to get Texas back and New Mexico and California and everything that was yours that was taken away. Mexico was like, you gotta be kidding me. We've already attacked them twice. Cough, Texas-American War, Mexican-American War, and we lost both times. And we lost both times, and so then the Britain, France, and the Allies finally we can get something to kind of maybe change Wilson's views. So then they send a message over to D.C. Well, when Wilson hears this, he's outraged at this point, and so he goes and gets tells Congress, who says, let's declare war, and declares war on Germany, and that's how the United States joined the war. We started from all the way to the 17th century, went through a whole century, and ended in 1918, which was probably an easily span about 20 some presidents. Start the first one. I don't know what President Woodrow Wilson was. That's probably, I don't know. But, so if you like the video, please leave a like and subscribe. We have other videos. One is about, one's about the Lindenberg kidnapping. We have one about Stalinism. Talks about kind of Stalin's when it talks about Stalin ruled Russia. We have other videos gaming videos. We have other very interesting a lot of very interesting. Well, if you want more history videos, we got a lot of interesting ones too. We have a video about the U.S. Camel Corps. Yes, that's a thing. So, yeah, so we have lots of weird videos about history. Just not in general. Well, yeah, I guess we do have a lot of weird videos on PHI Games and History. So, as I said, we have lots of other videos. We have one about Titanic. We actually have Titanic. We have lots of very weird videos. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'll see you in the next video. Bye!